What about on that cultural level? We have the sad story of Bella Thorne. I don't know who Bella Thorne is. I've never seen Bella Thorne in any sort of TV show or movie, but I am told she's a very famous TV and movie actress. Now she's also a pornographer. How'd that happen? Here's the quick rundown of the story. It shows you just about everything that's wrong from the personal to the, to the public political level in our culture. Bella Thorne sent nude photos to her boyfriend electronically. Those photos got hacked, which always happens when you're always liable for that to happen, and if you're famous, it certainly will happen when you are in the public, right? So she gets hacked. This guy was extorting her, said he was going to leak the photos. So she started an OnlyFans.com account. OnlyFans.com is this website that allows anybody to become their own pornographer and make money selling nude photos and videos and otherwise degrading themselves. So she started an OnlyFans.com to leak the photo herself. She made $1 million in one day, and she made $2 million in 1 week. She was already a millionaire, but she's making a lot of this money. Now, she's supposedly a victim here because someone hacked her photos. But Whoopi Goldberg, a left-winger on The View, had the audacity to say, you know, if you're famous, you should use a little bit of prudence. If you're famous, you probably shouldn't send nude photos because those photos inevitably are going to leak.
If you're famous, I don't care how old you are, you don't take nude pictures of yourself because...
But you only want to share it with one person.
But she should... Listen, when they're hacking you, they're hacking all of your stuff. So whether it's one picture or a million pictures, once you take that picture, it goes into the cloud and it's available to any hacker who wants it. And if you don't know that in 2019, that this is an issue, I'm sorry, your age does not, you don't get to do that.
I got to tell you, I kind of like Whoopi Goldberg, even though I know she's a left-winger and sometimes she has these fits of politics on The View. But she does have a kind of basic conservatism. She realizes, you know, you think you take that photo and it's private. It's not private. When you take a digital photo, it's never private. When you go on OnlyFans.com, that's not ever private. Anything on the internet is public. The only question is who's looking at it and how many people have seen it so far. So if you're famous and you don't want these nude photos to get out there, just don't take them. Pretty simple, right? We used to say this to people like, hey, don't create pornography of yourself. That used to be not just an acceptable point of view, that used to be very good advice. Bella Thorne was furious. She said, shame on you. I don't want to go on The View anymore because I don't really want to be beaten down by a bunch of older women for my body and my sexuality. Blaming girls for taking photos in the first place is sick and honestly disgusting. No, it's good advice. It's good advice. Let me reiterate Whoopi's brilliant advice. Ladies, do not take nude photos of yourself. Do not take them. Do not send them to that boyfriend that you really like where you're sure you're going to be together forever and he would never do anything wrong with them. Do not upload them to the cloud, even though they're going to get uploaded to the cloud the minute you take them. Just don't do it. Why would you do it? What's the point of doing that? You will only regret it. I got a message from someone who had an OnlyFans account. This was a message that was sent in through the website. Not through that website, through my website. And she had this problem pertaining to her OnlyFans account and was trying to work her way through it. And I said, okay, I'm happy to try to help you sort out this tangential problem. But here's the first problem. You're on OnlyFans. Get off of OnlyFans. Don't do it. There is no good that can come of that. There is only harm that can come of that. You will regret every moment that you're on there. The money isn't worth it. The money isn't, it's not even that much money. I guess for Bella Thorne, it's $2 million. That actually gets to be part of the problem. But it's not, just don't do it. I guess you're not allowed to say that these days because it's somehow feminist to get women to sell their bodies. And it's misogynistic to tell women not to be degraded and objectified. That's the, wait a second, I'm seeing a little illogic in that framing. But actually, this money is a little bit of the issue because that's not the end of the story here. Thorne puts these nude photos up. The customers apparently felt that Thorne was not sufficiently nude in the photos, and they had paid $200 for the photos, a pretty expensive photo. So they demanded a refund. And I want to take a pause here. Everything is public on the internet. Everything, okay? Why on earth, if you really wanted to see a nude photo of Bella Thorne, wouldn't you just wait for some other guy to pay $200 and then for that photo to inevitably leak? We know the photo is going to leak. The original photo leaked, and that was on her private cloud account. You know it's going to get out there. Why would you pay the $200? These people not thinking with their upper regions. So they got upset. They wanted a refund. But now you're talking about $2 million going back and forth on this website. So OnlyFans said, okay, this is too big a problem. We're going to cap how much you can charge at $50. Okay, fine enough. But now the other pornographers are upset. The other women, or sometimes the men who are prostituting these women, are very upset that the cap is going to be $50. They said, wait, we were making more money. So what happened? Bella Thorne apologized. Bella Thorne said, I wanted to bring attention to the site. The more people on the site, the more likely I have a chance to normalize the stigmas. And in trying to do this, I hurt you. I've risked my career a few times to remove the stigma behind sex work, porn, and the natural hatred people spew behind anything sex-related. Hatred? Are they spewing hatred? I don't know that it's hatred. Certainly exploitation and degradation, but I don't know if it's hatred. I wrote and directed a porn against the high brows of my peers and managers because I wanted to help with the stigma behind sex. I am a mainstream face, and when you have a voice, a platform, and you try to use it in helping others and advocate for something bigger than yourself, again, in this process, I hurt you, and for that, I'm truly sorry. I'm sorry, women. I'm sorry that I in any way discouraged you from degrading, objectifying, and selling yourselves. Please, go back and objectify yourself. Sell yourself, please. Everybody involved in this entire situation is doing the wrong thing, except for Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg is the one person who gets it. And she didn't even go that far. She didn't say all girls should not take nude photos of themselves. She said girls who are famous, who know they're going to get hacked eventually, shouldn't take nude photos of themselves. How do we get from that culture to a good self-governing society that recognizes virtue and can have logical conversations? You can't. That's the problem. That's the problem. I'm using this OnlyFans Bella Thorne thing as one example. Obviously, there are many issues beyond sex. Sex is the most scintillating of them, probably. But this gets into fraud. This gets into other personal relations. This gets into how we do business in the country. This gets into how we look at our local communities. This looks into the relationship we have to labor. This looks into the relationship we have to slave labor overseas. If you don't have a robust moral sense, and you don't actually practice virtues, and you don't even understand the argument for practicing the virtues, as many people here, other than apparently Whoopi Goldberg, does, you can't have a self-governing country. Your country is only as good as the people. Your ability to regulate your country is only as good as the people's ability to regulate themselves. So what do? Some conservatives throw up their hands. They say, well, there's no way to legislate morality. That's obviously BS. All laws legislate morality. All laws make moral arguments, right down to parking meters. You can't have the way you legislate is by making moral arguments for the laws and then enforcing those laws. So of course you can. Now you don't want to have a tyrannical regime that is undermining public morality, which can happen as well. I think we're pretty far from that at this point, though. Why don't we take back our politics in a way that can go in and say, shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't be doing this. We forget OnlyFans.com, which certainly should be heavily regulated, probably into the dust, probably just outright banned. Because also, what are the safety guards here? How do we know that people under 18 aren't on this website? Of course they're on this website. So there are many legal ways to go after a website like that. But we have such a loss of respect for law and order in this country that we can't even tell murderous rioters on the streets to put the guns down. Ted Wheeler won't do it. He's fanning the flames. Democratic Party, fanning the flames of this, encouraging it, saying, please, go out there, mob them, get violent. That's not just a personal problem. That's not just a cultural problem. It all ties into this bigger problem. We're looking at it in these little pieces. We're just seeing the trees here. You got to zoom out and see the forest. The personal problem, as the left says, the personal problem is the political problem. And the political problem ties in not just BLM, not just Antifa. It's the Democratic Party. It's the whole edifice. In the face of that, where do you stand in November? What do you see the stakes as in November? getting more intense and more intense and more intense. We always hear this is the most important election in our lifetimes. When your opponent tells you that, when they tell you what they're going to do to you if they get back in power, what they tell you what they're going to do if they don't get back in power, believe them. I hope you enjoyed that short segment from the Michael Knowles Show. Be sure to check out the full episode linked in the description or download the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.